The multi-billion-dollar dog food industry is built on a fundamental promise: the health and well-being of our beloved pets. Dog owners turn to commercial brands believing they are making a choice that is safer, more nutritious, and better for their furry family members than home-cooked meals. I always buy premium dog food because I want the best for my dog. I trust these brands because they say they are made with quality ingredients. I think if it is expensive, it must be safe. However, it might be time to take a closer look at that bag of dog food sitting in your pantry. This year, numerous dog food brands in the United States are coming under fire for their questionable quality and safety. In this video, we are exposing 7 of the absolute worst dog food brands that you should avoid at all costs. Plus, stick around until the end where we will share some helpful tips on how to choose safer dog food for you and your family. Now let us dive right into the first brand on our list, one that has been linked to the deadliest contamination outbreak in modern pet food history. Number 1 is Sportmix by Midwestern Pet Foods. Sportmix stands as the deadliest pet food contamination outbreak in modern United States history. Testing revealed dangerously high levels of aflatoxin, a toxin produced by mold that grows on corn and grains. The Food and Drug Administration was alerted in December 2020 after at least 28 dogs died and 8 became seriously ill. Testing found very high levels of aflatoxins in multiple product samples, far exceeding federal safety limits. Aflatoxins attack the liver and can cause sluggishness, loss of appetite, vomiting, jaundice, diarrhea, and death. Midwestern Pet Foods initially recalled 9 lots on December 30, 2020. As more dogs died, the recall expanded on January 11, 2021 to include all pet foods containing corn from their Oklahoma plant, with expiration dates before July 9, 2022, affecting over 1,000 lot codes. By January 21, 2021, more than 110 dogs had died and 210 were sick. That number climbed to over 130 deaths and 220 illnesses by August 2021. The Food and Drug Administration issued a warning letter citing systematic failures in food safety and quality control. The company faced numerous lawsuits from devastated pet owners. Sportmix marketed itself as affordable, but the company's failure to properly test ingredients turned their food into poison. Avoid Sportmix and any products by Midwestern Pet Foods, including ProPack, Sports Trail, None Better, and Splash brands. Number 2. Hill's Science Diet and Prescription Diet. Hill's Pet Nutrition, one of the most trusted names in veterinary-recommended dog food, suffered a massive credibility crisis when it recalled 54 lots of canned dog food for containing dangerously high levels of vitamin D. The recall began on January 31, 2019, after the Food and Drug Administration received a complaint about a dog exhibiting signs of vitamin D toxicity. While vitamin D is an essential nutrient for dogs, excessive levels can cause vomiting, loss of appetite, increased thirst, increased urination, excessive drooling, weight loss, and, most seriously, kidney failure and death. Testing revealed that some recalled products contained vitamin D levels more than 33 times higher than the recommended safe upper limit. Hill's investigation traced the problem to a supplier error involving a vitamin premix. However, the FDA inspection revealed deeper issues. In a warning letter issued in November 2019, federal regulators stated that Hill's failed to follow its own procedures for verifying ingredient quality. The company had accepted the contaminated vitamin premix without properly testing it, despite having protocols in place that required such testing. The recall affected approximately 675,000 cases of canned dog food, nearly 22 million cans total. Products were distributed nationwide through retail pet stores and veterinary clinics, and the recall extended to at least 26 countries worldwide. The human toll was devastating. Pet owners across the country reported that their dogs became severely ill or died after eating the recalled food. Some dogs were euthanized due to irreversible kidney damage. Within weeks of the initial recall, multiple class action lawsuits were filed against Hill's Pet Nutrition. The lawsuits claimed that dogs died or suffered serious health problems, and that Hill's knew about elevated vitamin D levels months before issuing the recall but dragged its feet. One lawsuit described how a dog owner's pet died on December 23, 2018, more than a month before the recall was announced. Eventually, 35 separate lawsuits were consolidated into one massive class action, representing approximately 300 plaintiffs. In August 2021, a Kansas federal judge approved a $12.5 million settlement, plus $4 million in attorney fees. What makes this case particularly troubling is that Hill's Science Diet and Prescription Diet are premium-priced brands specifically recommended by veterinarians and marketed as scientifically formulated for optimal health. The brand's advertising emphasizes precise nutrition and quality control. Pet owners paid premium prices trusting that these foods would help their dogs, not harm them. Instead, the failure to follow basic safety procedures turned veterinary-prescribed food into a source of poisoning. This scandal shattered the trust between Hill's, veterinarians, and pet owners. If even the most trusted vet-recommended brands can fail this catastrophically, what does that say about the industry as a whole? Number 3. Victor, Eagle Mountain, Wayne Feeds, and Members Mark by Mid-America Pet Food. In late 2023, a salmonella outbreak traced to Mid-America Pet Food triggered one of the largest multi-brand recalls in recent years. The company manufactures dog and cat food sold under multiple brand names, including Victor Super Premium Dog Food, Eagle Mountain, Wayne Feeds, and certain Members Mark varieties sold at Sam's Club. The Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control began investigating in September of 2023 after multiple people became sick with salmonella infections that were genetically linked to pet food. Yes, humans got sick, not just pets. Salmonella-contaminated pet food is particularly dangerous because it can sicken both animals and their owners. Dogs and cats can become carriers of the bacteria and shed it in their feces without appearing ill, creating an ongoing contamination risk in homes and yards. The recall began small in September of 2023 with just one lot of Victor High Pro Plus dog food. However, as the investigation continued, it became clear the contamination was widespread. On October 30th, 2023, Mid-America expanded the recall to include 3 lots of Victor Select beef meal and brown rice formula. Then on November 9th, 2023, the company issued a massive expansion, recalling all pet food brands it manufactured with best by dates before October 31st, 2024. This included over 25 types of dog food and 6 types of cat food. The affected products were sold nationwide through major retailers including Tractor Supply, Chewy.com, and Sam's Club. Salmonella symptoms in pets include vomiting, diarrhea, fever, loss of appetite, and decreased activity. In humans, salmonella can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections, especially in young children, elderly people, and those with weakened immune systems. The Centers for Disease Control confirmed multiple human cases of salmonella infection linked to the contaminated pet food. This recall exposed serious quality control failures at Mid-America's manufacturing facility in Mount Pleasant, Texas. The company's failure to prevent salmonella contamination put both pets and their families at risk. While Mid-America claimed to be implementing enhanced safety measures, the scope of the recall, covering months of production, suggests systematic problems rather than an isolated incident. Pet owners should be extremely cautious about these brands and verify that any product they purchase was manufactured after the recall date. Number 4 is Blue Ridge Beef Raw Pet Food. Blue Ridge Beef has been hit with multiple recalls for bacterial contamination, including salmonella and listeria. Raw pet food has become popular among owners seeking natural diets, but raw foods carry a serious risk of bacterial contamination that can sicken both pets and humans. In October 2023, the company recalled Breeder's Choice No. 2 for salmonella. In November, they expanded to kitten and puppy products for salmonella and listeria. On January 3, 2024, another expansion included 2-pound logs distributed to 16 states. In December 2024 and January 2025, additional recalls followed. The repeated recalls suggest the company struggles to consistently control contamination. Listeria is particularly dangerous, causing fever, muscle aches, and diarrhea in dogs, and miscarriages in pregnant dogs. In humans, especially pregnant women, newborns, elderly people, and immunocompromised people, listeria causes serious and sometimes fatal infections. When handling raw pet food or cleaning bowls and pet areas, people are exposed to bacteria that can make them seriously ill. Blue Ridge Beef markets products as natural and wholesome, but the inability to consistently produce safe food makes them dangerous. Number 5. Darwin's Natural Pet Products. Darwin's Natural Pet Products, another raw pet food manufacturer, has faced repeated contamination issues that put both pets and people at risk. The company markets its raw meals as natural and minimally processed, delivered frozen directly to customers' doors through a subscription service. However, Darwin's products have been repeatedly flagged for dangerous bacterial contamination. In September 2024, the Food and Drug Administration issued an advisory warning consumers not to feed certain Answers pet food for dogs due to salmonella and listeria contamination. Then, on September 21, 2024, the Food and Drug Administration warned specifically about Darwin's pet food for dogs and cats. In July 2025, the Food and Drug Administration issued yet another advisory, this time warning consumers not to feed certain lots of Darwin's natural pet products due to E. coli, O157H7 and salmonella contamination. Just 2 months later, in September 2025, another advisory was issued for Darwin's Biologics dog food due to salmonella and listeria. E. coli O157H7 is particularly dangerous. This strain of bacteria can cause severe bloody diarrhea and kidney failure in both animals and humans. Children are especially vulnerable to serious complications. The fact that this pathogen was found in Darwin's products represents a catastrophic food safety failure. The recurring nature of Darwin's contamination problems suggests fundamental issues with the company's manufacturing processes. Raw pet food requires strict temperature control, sanitation procedures, and quality testing to prevent bacterial growth. Darwin's repeated failures indicate the company either lacks proper safety protocols or is not consistently following them. What makes this even more troubling is that Darwin's charges premium prices for its subscription service, marketing its products as carefully crafted, human-grade meals. Customers pay top dollar believing they are getting the highest quality, safest food available, only to discover their expensive raw meals may be contaminated with deadly bacteria. The company delivers these products frozen directly to homes, meaning contaminated food could be stored in the same freezer as human food, creating additional contamination risks. Until Darwin's can prove it has completely overhauled its safety systems and can consistently produce uncontaminated products, this brand should be avoided. If you are still watching and finding these details valuable, I would really appreciate it if you would leave the number 5 in the comments below, just to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I hope you will consider subscribing and ringing that bell so you do not miss a thing. Your support is what allows us to keep creating helpful content to inform and inspire you. Now let us get back to it. Number 6. Grain-free brands linked to heart disease. In July of 2018, the Food and Drug Administration launched an investigation that sent shockwaves through the pet food industry. The agency announced it was investigating reports of dilated cardiomyopathy, a serious heart disease, in dogs eating certain pet foods labeled as grain-free. Dilated cardiomyopathy, often called DCM, occurs when the chambers of the heart become enlarged and weakened, making the heart unable to pump blood effectively. This leads to congestive heart failure, and it can be fatal. While certain large breed dogs like Doberman Pinschers, Great Danes, and Boxers have a genetic predisposition to DCM, veterinary cardiologists began noticing the disease appearing in breeds that typically do not develop this condition, including Golden Retrievers, Labrador Retrievers, Whippets, Bulldogs, and even small breeds like miniature Schnauzers. The common factor was diet. These dogs were eating grain-free foods that replaced traditional grains with peas, lentils, chickpeas, other legumes, and potatoes as primary ingredients. Between January 1, 2014 and November 1, 2022, the Food and Drug Administration received 1,382 reports of DCM in dogs. The vast majority of reports came between 2018 and 2020. Testing revealed that 93% of dogs diagnosed with DCM had been eating diets high in peas, lentils, or both, and 90% were on grain-free diets. In June of 2019, the Food and Drug Administration took the unprecedented step of naming 16 brands most frequently associated with DCM reports. These included Acana, Signature, Taste of the Wild, 4Health from Tractor Supply, Earthborn Holistic, Blue Buffalo, Nature's Domain from Costco, From, Merrick, California Natural, Natural Balance, Origin, Nature's Variety Instinct, Nutrisource, Nutro, and Rachel Ray Nutrish. Most reports involved dry kibble, though raw, semi-moist, and wet foods were also represented. The grain-free trend exploded in popularity over the past decade, driven by marketing that suggested these foods were more natural, healthier, and better for dogs with allergies. However, veterinary nutritionists point out there is no scientific evidence that grain-free diets provide any health benefits for most dogs. In fact, grains like rice, barley, and oats are easily digestible sources of nutrients. True food allergies in dogs are actually quite rare, and when they do occur, they are usually to proteins like beef or chicken, not grains. What makes the DCM situation particularly heartbreaking is that many cases are discovered too late. Dogs may not show symptoms until the disease has significantly progressed. By the time owners notice lethargy, weakness, coughing, or rapid breathing, the damage may be irreversible. Some dogs have responded positively when their diet was changed, and they received appropriate veterinary treatment, especially if caught early. However, many dogs have died despite treatment and diet changes. The Food and Drug Administration has not definitively proven that grain-free foods cause DCM, and the agency ended routine public updates on the investigation in December of 2022, stating it lacked sufficient data to establish causation. However, the strong correlation and the fact that many dogs' conditions improved after switching away from grain-free diets suggests a real connection. Veterinary cardiologists are not waiting for absolute proof. They are actively advising dog owners to avoid grain-free foods, especially those listing peas, lentils, and legumes high in the ingredient list. There is simply no benefit to taking the risk. If your dog is eating a grain-free diet, especially food from one of the 16 brands named by the Food and Drug Administration, consult your veterinarian about switching to a traditional, grain-inclusive formula. Number 7. Boutique and exotic ingredient brands. Beyond grain-free, veterinary nutritionists warn about BEG diets. These are foods from small manufacturers without extensive research, foods with unusual proteins like kangaroo or venison, and foods with trendy ingredients that have not been studied in dogs. Boutique brands often lack the resources for extensive feeding trials and quality control that larger companies perform. Some have excellent standards, but others cut corners or make unsubstantiated claims. The Food and Drug Administration has limited oversight of pet food, and companies are not required to prove products are safe before selling them. Exotic ingredients such as venison or kangaroo have not been studied as extensively as chicken or beef in dog nutrition. Marketing often preys on emotion with phrases like ancestral diet or species appropriate, even though domestic dogs evolved alongside humans and thrive on a variety of foods. Veterinary nutritionists recommend sticking with companies that employ board-certified nutritionists, conduct feeding trials, own their manufacturing facilities, and have long track records. Established companies invest in research and quality control to minimize risks. So, there you have it. 7 of the worst dog food brands and categories you should probably avoid. Now, as promised, here are practical tips to help you choose a safer option for your four-legged family member. Prioritize brands with proven track records. Look for companies that have been producing dog food for decades and that employ board-certified veterinary nutritionists. Companies like Purina, Royal Canin, Hills, despite their vitamin D recall, Mars Pet Care, and IAMS have extensive research programs and rigorous quality control. They may not have trendy marketing, but they have the infrastructure to produce consistently safe, nutritious food. Check for AAFCO feeding trial statements. The Association of American Feed Control Officials sets standards for pet food. Look for a statement on the package that says the food has undergone feeding trials, not just that it meets AAFCO nutrient profiles. Feeding trials involve actually feeding the food to dogs and monitoring their health. That provides much better evidence of safety and nutritional adequacy than simply calculating nutrient levels on paper. Avoid grain-free diets unless they are medically necessary. Unless your veterinarian has diagnosed your dog with a specific grain allergy through proper testing, there is no reason to feed grain-free food. And there is significant reason to avoid it, given the potential heart disease connection. Traditional formulas with rice, barley, oats, or other grains are safe, digestible, and backed by decades of research. Be cautious with raw food. While some owners swear by raw diets, the Food and Drug Administration and veterinary organizations warn that raw foods carry significant risks of bacterial contamination that can sicken both pets and their human family members. If you choose to feed raw, source it from companies with impeccable safety records and handle it with extreme care. Keep raw food separate from human food and thoroughly clean all surfaces and bowls. Consult your veterinarian. Your vet can recommend foods appropriate for your dog's age, size, breed, activity level, and any health conditions. If your dog develops symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy, increased thirst, or changes in appetite, report it to your vet immediately and consider whether a recent diet change might be involved. Veterinarians can also help you report suspected food-related illnesses to the Food and Drug Administration through the Safety Reporting Portal. Monitor Food and Drug Administration recalls. Sign up for recall alerts from the Food and Drug Administration or from organizations like the American Veterinary Medical Association. Check recall lists regularly, especially if you have recently purchased dog food. Keep packaging information including lot numbers and best buy dates so you can verify whether your product has been recalled. If you find you have recalled food, do not donate it. Dispose of it securely where other animals cannot access it. Read ingredient labels carefully. Avoid foods that list peas, lentils, chickpeas, or other legumes as primary ingredients in the first 5 to 10 items. Be wary of foods that list multiple forms of potatoes, like potato protein, potato flour, and whole potatoes, each listed separately. That practice, called ingredient splitting, can make it appear that meat is the first ingredient when in reality the food is primarily potato. Look for specific meat sources like chicken meal or beef, rather than generic terms like meat meal or poultry byproduct meal. The dog food market is not always as safe and trustworthy as its marketing suggests. Companies sometimes prioritize profits and trendy ingredients over rigorous safety testing and quality control. When buying dog food, do your research and prioritize brands that are transparent and have proven track records of quality. Your dog's health depends on the choices you make, so choose wisely. We hope these tips help you keep your best friends safe, healthy, and happy. Stay informed and give your pup an extra belly rub for us.